Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to the Cricket Happening Show. And on this Cricket Happening Show, we're talking about the India's win. It's a three-match ODI series, and today India clinched the ODI series by actually almost. I mean, they have already won the ODI series today. They were leading 2-0, and there's only one to go. But what a match we had in the second ODI! As I said yesterday, Baravati Stadium in Cuttack with some shorter boundaries. Runs were definitely going to cascade from the blade of both the batsmen, and that's what precisely happened. And as I told you, this England ODI India series is going to be very evenly contested. It's a meaty clash, and that's precisely the case as India, after struggling initially at 25 for 3, went on to make 381 runs of their 50 overs, which was thanks to the efforts from Mahendra Singh Dhoni, who went on to register his 10th ODI century. But the good thing that India will be very happy about is Yuvraj Singh coming into form after the last one would have seen him in 2011 World Cup when he made a century, and today he went on to register his career best score in ODIs as he made 150 runs, and with Dhoni and Yuvraj Singh combining in a stand of 256 runs, India raised an enormous total of 381. Even though the 381 total was raised, England batsmen were not far behind at all. They were led by Morgan, who led them absolutely from the front with a wonderful innings that he played, which would have definitely given India the shivers, one could say, as England beautifully challenged the Indian target of 382 to be kept at, in the final analysis, even though Morgan scored 102 and Jason Roy made an exciting 82, it was still not enough as the India actually won the match by just 15 runs to take the ODI series with one more to go. But what a match that was at Baravati Stadium in Cuttack. So that is one thing that I'll be having a brief look at. And as far as Pakistan versus Australia was concerned, the third ODI going into Australia's hands with the Australian skipper Graham Smith leading the way with a wonderful century, and Peter Hanscom on debut definitely lived a charmed life. He was dropped, but he definitely took advantage of that opportunity, and he made a very useful 82 to really partner Stephen Smith in a wonderful stand of 183 runs, which really paved the victory for Australia over Pakistan in the third ODI. With two more to go, Australia lead the ODI series 2-1. So we'll come back to that. And right now when I'm talking to you, I can give you a live cricket update where the two young Bangladesh debutants are into work. With we are in session 2 here in the second test match between Bangladesh and New Zealand at Hagley Oval in Christchurch. New Zealand won the toss and elected to field. They put Bangladesh in, but Bangladesh have been very quick with their scoring, as this is just the second session. Even the second session is still on right now, and Bangladesh have 214 runs on the board for 5 wickets. The debutants are right now have been doing a fine job. One is Nazmul Hussain Shanto. He's not out on 8 with 1 boundary, but Nurul Hassan has looked very impressive with his batting. He's been nicely coming behind the line of the ball whenever he is playing his hook shot. He's been nicely rolling his wrists over, and he's not out on 27. I will come back to that later and give you as to what really happened between Bangladesh and New Zealand. But first, I'm going to go towards the most exciting match, and that was the second ODI between England and India. So India were the ones who actually batted first here at the Baravati Stadium in Cuttack, and as I said, the Indian innings did not have a good start at all, with Chris Woakes being amongst the wicket. In fact, he reduced India to 25 for 3 by first getting KL Rahul caught in the second slip by Ben Stokes for 5 of as many balls with 1-4, and the next wicket was Virat Kohli, who came in at 1 drop, was also a victim, as Chris Wokes actually forced Virat Kohli to give a catch to Ben Stokes. He was gone for 8 of 5 balls after hitting 2 fours. And after that, Shikhar Dhawan inside dashed onto his stumps of the bowling of Wokes for 11, and India were really struggling at 25 for 3, and it was Yuvraj Singh and Dhoni, 2 new batsmen at the crease. I would say 2 new batsmen at the crease facing the new Cherry, which was only 4.4 overs old. But later on, we saw how Yuvraj Singh slowly settled himself and slowly started unveiling the strokes that he is known for, which would have definitely brought back his confidence, as the wrists were coming in beautifully, as the drives were coming in crisply, and he was also beautifully playing off his legs, and even the straight punch, which he normally does with effortless ease, was coming about, and suddenly there was a huge transformation in the game as England saw the advantage slip by, with Mahendra Singh Dhoni at the other end trying to play himself in, not really bothered about the runs here, as he slowly bided his time and was just content in taking singles and twos with an odd brutal hit here and there, as Yuvraj Singh and Mahendra Singh Dhoni slowly started repairing the damage that had happened to the Indian innings at 25 for 3, and before one could realize, Yuvraj Singh and MS Dhoni had put India in such a commanding position, I would say, in the 43rd over, as they put a 256 runs partnership with Yuvraj Singh going on to make 150, his highest score in ODIs, and what a knock that was. It would have done great wonders to his confidence, as Yuvraj Singh went on to make 150 of 127 deliveries with 21 beautifully timed fours and 3 sixes. Mahendra Singh Dhoni picked up his 10th ODI century as he slammed 134. As I said, he was not bothered about runs, but when it came to the death overs, that was the time Dhoni was really opening up, and the bowlers were sent into the roof of the Baravati Stadium as he plundered 6 sixes and 10 fours in his 10th ODI century, 134 coming off 122 balls. And after that, Jadhav made 22 of 10 deliveries, 3 fours and 1 6. Hardik Pandya played a good hand, 19 of 9 deliveries at the death, 2 fours and 1 6. Jadeja was not on 16 of 8 balls, 1 4 and 1 6. And India put up a huge score on the board of 381 for 6. The bowling, well, if you look at the bowling, there's really nothing to really say about it. Wokes was the best bowler, I thought. 10 overs, he had 3 maidens with 4 wickets for 60 runs. The other person to bowl a maiden was Liam Plunkett. 10 overs, 1 maiden, 91 runs and 2 wickets, was very costly. Willie 5 overs went for 32. Jake Ball also could not get his bearings right. 10 overs disappeared for 80. Ben Stokes had some real clattering done. 9 overs was hit for 79 without a wicket, and Moeen Ali 6 overs 33. Now one knew that with looking at the pitch and looking at the very short boundaries, England are such a good team that they were definitely going to challenge this total, and challenge they definitely did. It all started at the top of the year. Alex Hales once again failed, being a victim of Bumrah for 14 of 12 balls with 3 fours. But Jason Roy once again showed what a dangerous player he could be when he slammed 82 runs of 73 deliveries with 9 fours and 2 sixes to really start the real chase there for England. Joe Root managed 54 of 55 balls with 8 fours, and Morgan was the man who was really doing it for them, as Morgan really gave the Indian bowlers a real battering with his bat, as he made 102 runs. He was run out, and I think Morgan should be happy with this effort, because after quite a long time one has seen that the England ODI captain Morgan has really run into some serious form, as he made 102 runs of just 81 deliveries with 6 fours and 5 sixes to really keep up the chase. He was the one who was really challenging this Indian total. And the only problem for England happened to be, I mean, they were definitely on course with things going on, but the only problem for England happened to be that Ravichandran Ashwin nipped 2 big wickets, and those were the wickets. I mean, if these 2 people, Ben Stokes, who was clean bowled by Ashwin for 1 of 3 balls, and Josh Buttler, who was stumped by Dhoni of the bowling of Ashwin for 10 of 9 balls with 1 4, had stayed there, the story could have been quite different, because we know what damage they can cause to the bowlers. But unfortunately, with Ben Stokes and Josh Buttler very cheaply dismissed, in fact, Morgan had to depend on Moeen Ali, who definitely kept him company by making 55 43 balls with 6 fours, which was not enough. Chris Wokes making 5, and then finally Liam Plunkett gave him some company with unbeaten 26, but that was it, as Morgan in the 40, if probably Morgan would have been there, I mean, they were definitely on course, one could say, because in the 49th over they were 354 for 8, so 15 runs, and you had 9 balls remaining, and one knows Morgan what he is capable of. I mean, he was well entrenched at the crease, he would be been seeing the ball like a real football, and it was very unfortunate that Morgan was actually run out by Bumrah for a direct throw. But what a knock from Morgan, 102 of 81 deliveries, 6 fours and 5 sixes, 366 for 8 was the final tally, and India won the ODI series. I mean, they lead the 3-match series, but they already won the ODI series now, which it being a 3-match series. And as far as the bowling was concerned, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, 10 overs, 1 minute, 1 for 63. I thought he still bowled well. Bumrah, 9 overs, went for 81 with 2 wickets. Jadeja, the pick of the bowlers from either group, I would say, because to give 45 runs on a day where the ball was really flying into the boundary and over the boundary, one has to say Ravindra Jadeja needs real commendation for bowling 10 overs with giving 45 runs and picking up 1 wicket. Pandya, 6 overs, clobbered for 60 runs. Ashwin definitely did much better, I would say, because he picked up 2 important wickets of Buttler and Stokes, and according to me, that was the turning point, or probably one could say Morgan's run out. It depends. 10 overs, no made in 3 for 65 for Ravichandran Ashwin, and Jadhav also bowled, but his 5 overs was really given a real battering, as his 5 overs disappeared for 45 runs. Yuvraj Singh was named man of the match, and rightly so. What a knock from Yuvraj Singh, coming in a crisis time and then playing in a very nice manner to see to it that India put up a huge score on the board in the company of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Now from here, let's get on to the Australia versus Pakistan match. The Australia versus Pakistan match, well, it was being played at the Western Australian Cricket Association ground in Perth, and one knew it's a very, very pacey and bouncy wicket. And it was Pakistan who batted first, who made 263 for 7 of their 50 overs. Shahjeel Khan did his bit yesterday for a change by contributing 50 of 47 deliveries, 8 fours and 1 6. Hafiz was dismissed cheaply for 4. Babar Azam has joined some great names, I would say, in ODI cricket, because yesterday he went on to join that famed club of Sir Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards from the West Indies, Jonathan Trott of England, and also a few other players, as Babar Azam became the first player. I mean, he joined a group where in their debut, I mean not debut, basically in 21 innings in their career, Babar Azam has gone on to make 1,000 runs in ODIs. And as I said, there are only a few people who have made it, 4 or 5. But right now, the ready names that I remember are Sir Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards from the West Indies and Jonathan Trott of England, who did that, and Babar Azam joined that famed group. But what a knock from Babar Azam. Babar Azam really held the innings together with some nice strokes here, as he made 84 of 100 balls with 4 fours and 1 6. Shafiq made only 5. Shoaib Malik and Umar Akmal contributing 39 apiece. Malik 39 of 41 balls, 3 fours and 1 6, and also Umar Akmal 39 of 51, 1 6, 1 4 and 1 6, and 263 for 7 on this wicket by Pakistan was considered to be a good score. Hazelwood was absolutely on the money, gave nothing away, 10 overs no maiden, 3 for 32. Stanlake was a bit costly, but nevertheless he controlled himself later after getting a bit of bashing from the Pakistani left-handed opener Sharjeel Khan, who collected his maiden 50 in ODI cricket. Stanlake 10 overs on maiden, 1 for 55. Cummins 10 overs on maiden, 1 for 42, bowled well. Travis Head 2 for 65 of 10, and Faulkner 10 overs on maiden, 1 for 62. As far as Australia's reply was concerned, well, the reply was not so good, I would say, because they lost 2 quick wickets with Mohammad Amir getting the wicket of Usman Khawaja for 9, and then David Warner was a victim of the bowling of Junaid Khan, and both were caught behind the wicket by Mohammad Rizwan, as David Warner contributed 38 deliveries with 5 fours. But after that, we saw the Aussie captain at the crease looking supremely confident in his stroke making, as Peter Hanscom joined him, who was on his ODI debut, and Peter Hanscom was actually dropped, and that enabled Hanscom to really settle down and start giving the much needed company that Stephen Smith needed to actually pilot things through, and that's what Smith did. In fact, Hanscom played in the shadow of Smith, one could say, as Smith and Hanscom combined, and from 45 for 2, the Australia definitely, I thought both, Stephen Smith is a good player of spin, and also we see that Peter Hanscom has also played spin very well, and we definitely saw 2 good players of spin there, and that was really done very well by Australia, and that was what really enabled them to, because as you know, in the previous 2 one-dayers they had really struggled against the spinners, but not this time. They made sure that they won't leave this chance go, and that's what precisely did. As Stephen Smith went on to make his century, he made his century, he made 108 of 104 balls, 11 fours and 1. He was there till the end to see things through for Australia, as Australia took a 2-1 lead in the ODI series. Australia winning the match by 7 wickets. Hanscom on his debut, what a knock. I mean, look at the consistency that Hanscom is providing. I mean, in the test matches he was extremely consistent, and here he comes on ODI debut and comes at a time when it was a bit of a tough going for Australia, and Peter Hanscom comes in and contributes, gets his maiden 50 in ODIs, and finally ends up with 82 of 84 balls with 6 fours. Well done, Hanscom. And then finally Travis Head was there with Stephen Smith when the victory came. He was not out on 23, 25, that was 4 fours, and Australia winning the match, and Hanscom. In fact, Stephen Smith, the Aussie captain, was the one who took the Man of the Match award. Now look at the bowling. Mohammad Amir, what a splendid bowling spell from him on a very good wicket. 10 overs, no maiden, 1 for 36, gave nothing away. Mohammad Hafiz 6 overs on maiden, none for 30, also bowled well. 9 overs for 58 for Junaid Khan with 1 wicket. Hassan Ali 10 overs, 1 for 62. The spinners were not really given a handle today. Imad Wasim was, who normally would have been very economical, and he was really sealed to it. The Stephen Smith and Hanscom saw to it that Imad Wasim never settled into a rhythm, as he was clattered for 59 of 8 overs, and Malik bowled 2 overs for 18. So Australia lead the 5-match series 2-1. Now let's go live to the Bangladesh versus New Zealand match, and with this live cricket update I will be winding up this cricket show. Let's see what's happening. So I'm just trying to see what's happening here. Well, I think the debutants have been doing a fine job, and I think tea is right now approaching, and I thought right now the debutants Nurul Hassan is not out on 20. In fact, New Zealand won the toss and elected to field, and they are 223 for 5 right now, while coming up to tea with Nurul Hassan on debut looking very impressive on 29 with 4 boundaries. Nazmul Hussain Shanto, the left-handed batsman, he's not out on 15 with 2 boundaries, also looking good, and it has a sort of a recovery being staged by Bangladesh after doing so well in the initial part, where New Zealand actually won the toss and put the Bangladeshis in. Tamim Iqbal was dismissed for 5, But look at the way Soumya Sarkar and Shakib Al Hasan played. Soumya Sarkar strokes were really superb to watch. He was pinging the cover area, which is his strong region. Soumya Sarkar getting up his maiden test 50 here, making 86 with 11 very good strokeful boundaries. Shakib Al Hasan was going runner ball stuff. He was in fact going more than a runner ball. He was really playing in one day mode, and Shakib Al Hasan contributed 59, but later on it was Bolt and Saudi striking. In fact, all the wickets that have gone has been shared by Saudi and Bolt. 3 wickets to Bolt and 2 to Saudi, and that's how the 5 wickets have been shared. And just because Sabir Rahman got a real lifter from Bolt, which he could not avoid. He was caught by Saudi in the slips. Shakib Al Hasan was out to the bowling of Saudi for 59. Soumya Sarkar was a victim of Bolt for 86. Mahmudullah made 19, playing not a good shot, one could say. And right now, the debutants Nur Al Hasan and Shanto have done a fine job to actually raise 44 runs and stage a sort of a very small recovery here for Bangladesh, who was struggling at one point of time. If you see Bangladesh, they were 179 for 5 when Shakib departed, and now the score is 22. So one definitely has to give some credit to the 2 debutants, Nur Al Hasan, the right-handed batsman, and Nazim Al Hasan, the Shanto, the left-handed batsman. Well, dear fans, subscribers, with this live cricket update coming in from Hagley Oval in Christchurch in the second test between Bangladesh and New Zealand, it's time for me to wind up my cricket show by saying good night.